Yeah, I'm just proud of our guys for the second game in a row and how we played, the pace we played at, kind of the maturity that we started the game with. That was the biggest thing that I talked to those guys about is, we want to be better every game we play. We want to get better, and we don't want to take any steps back. I didn't feel like we did that. We weren't sharp the entire time, right? There are stretches where we weren't great, but for the most part, these guys are playing really hard at both ends of the floor, and we're getting contributions from a lot of different guys. So, 21 assists after having, I think, 24 the other night. When you share the ball like that, it's contagious. And we got a bunch of guys that can make plays off the dribble, that can shoot open threes. So it opens up a lot of stuff for us.
Like Pickett and Funk combined for 8 points, two of your better players. If that happens last year, I know we keep using that as that measuring stick, but what does it say about the depth where, they can do some other things to help you win and other guys could pick up the slack scoring?
Yeah, they both struggled a little bit, like shooting it, and I think they got open shots. Pickett had some of his post-ups that he normally makes, he missed. Funk had some wide open threes that he missed. It's not for trying, but the one thing is like Funk being in their league last year and scoring a bunch of points in them in the 2 games he played. Right, he was kind of a decoy tonight. Right, we opened the game with the back screen and him setting it, to get somebody else open. Right, he's cutting, and we're not giving it to him. He's just faking the draw defense. That's a lot of the gravity that I talk about. So he doesn't get as many shots, but he helps us in other ways. And I think Pickett the same way, having 11 assists, really like attacking when they start through the ball screen stuff, getting around them and finding open guys. Like that's what he's able to do. But you see it when you take those guys away. There's other people. There's a lot of capable guys, and I tell them all the time, I believe in every single one of you. Because who can you focus on? Cam, the floor's open and Cam's attacking the rim. Seth, who's in and out of foul trouble, gets you 10. Miles has played great 2 games in a row. Keba scores down the stretch. Stallion gets you 8. Caleb gets you 8. Like, it's a lot of people out there that's causing issues.
Micah, how much value is there in stealing like 8 minutes a night for Jalen after he played about 40 minutes a game last year?
Yeah, I think that was something I wanted to look at, early. When Seth got in foul trouble, I think he had to play more in the first half. So getting to the point where we're comfortable, where we can still sit him at times in longer stretches, even if Seth is in foul trouble, right? Like, you're not stressed. Like, Seth is one of your better players, so when he goes down, it changes your rotations a little bit. But, trying to get those freshmen some minutes in real time when the game's still in the balance, I think is going to help those guys in the long run to be able to step up. And now maybe they're taking some of those minutes, and Pick doesn't have to play. He got up there pretty high in the first half. I want to say 18 or 19 minutes. He played a lot, but if we can keep him at a manageable number so he can play at a high level the whole time, that's what we want to try and do.
Loyola cut it to 2 with about 8 minutes to play there in the first half. What did you like what you saw, I guess, with the response to close out the first half?
Yeah, definitely the response. That was part of the stretch where I didn't think we weren't disciplined defensively. We just didn't stay solid with how they were trying to score, how they were trying to attack us. They changed a couple things. Like, that was great on Tavares' part where he saw where we were guarding something, and then they went to something different to try and take advantage of that. And then our guys had to adjust to that. So, but, we were jumping the shot fakes. We were fouling people. We weren't solid. And then we weren't playing with pace. And that's what I was the most upset about is, our offense got slow. And we were struggling to score. They were, doing a good job of taking it away. So, we got it corrected in that timeout, and then we came back out and played really well. That's I think that's when you see, like, the maturity of this team come out. And you got a bunch of older guys that, are coming out of a huddle and they're talking about what they need to do. Like, they know when they're not at their highest ability, and they can self-correct it pretty quickly, right? So they were doing that, and I thought, that stretch at the end of the first half was pretty big.
There we go. After not having his best score net last night, can you speak to the leadership of Cameron Winter and his ability to bounce back, just going through the game and just making the right adjustments?
We've tried to. It took me to I don't know, maybe early December or something to sit down and talk to Pick last year about playing a different way, playing a different style, and Cam didn't play great in either one of our scrimmages, so I was like, hey, dum-dum, don't wait until December. Let's talk to him in early November. And I think he's been really aggressive. Like, you saw that tonight. Like, what you saw tonight is who he is. He's a good scorer. Chelsea told me walking in, he hit that mark of 1,500 points, 500 rebounds, 500 assists in his career. That's really impressive. There's not very many people that have done it in the country. And we have another one on our team, right? Like, that's the kind of caliber of player he is. And it might not always be his night, right? He did good things the other night. He had a stretch in the second half where he really got going. But we got a lot of good players, so sometimes it might not be your night. Well, tonight it was for him. And you can see how aggressive he is off the dribble. He's learning how to play off the ball, where now he's attacking closeouts, and when he gets space, he can shoot the basketball. He's a much better shooter than the 29% or whatever he was last year at Drexel. But he's also taking tough shots, right? Same thing with Funk. Funk shot 31% from three at Bucknell last year. He's not a 31% three-point shooter, and Cam's not a 29% three-point shooter. I've watched these dudes shoot in practice, so to see him have a game like this just gets his confidence back, where he's continuing to play aggressive for us.
Micah, how much do you work on that five-guard look, and what did you think of what you saw from it in the first half today?
Very, very rarely. I mean, not much. We do when guys are out in practice. Every once in a while, a big guy's out of practice, and Miles is. For the longest, I think Mikey was out for a little stretch, and then Meach was out for a little stretch, and it was only Keba and it was only Caleb. So Miles is on one team, and he'd sub in, and we'd get a couple possessions till Caleb was ready to come back in. Same thing, we'd put Evan in that spot, right? Because Evan's so versatile in what he can do as a player. We put him in that spot too. So we don't do it much. Miles is a basketball player. That's the easiest thing to say. He understands what they're trying to do, and then he can counteract it. And he's also a ball mover. So people are worried about him popping. People are worried about him slipping. People are worried about him shooting it. Now he's shot faking and passing it. The more basketball players you got, the better you can be. And I think you put him out there now. It's he's a basketball player. Pick's a basketball player. Funk's a basketball player. Cam's a basketball player. You just got skill, smarts. They're just kind of taking what the defense gives them.
Mike, you guys have shot 68 threes through 2 games. So as the season progresses, yeah.
We have.
Based on that laugh, I think you'll like this question. As the season progresses, do you worry about becoming too dependent on the three as your main form of offense?
Nope. 3's more than 2. We got dudes that can really shoot it. Really shoot it. A bunch of them, not just one. So we're gonna shoot as many. If people want to leave us open, we're gonna shoot as many as possible. And now, you saw it in the second half, late in the first half also, where now they're worried about it. We got to 8 or 9 or 10 pretty quickly in the game. So now they're worried about it, which opened up driving lanes, which opened up guys attacking again. And there were we made 16, and I can remember 2 or 3 possessions that we missed that was just beautiful ball movement. Dudes are just slinging the ball all over the court, and it gets to an open guy, and he just misses it. I'm okay with that. That means we're connected. That means we're locked in offensively. That means we're playing the right way. We're sharing it. I'm okay with it because we got dudes that can put it on the deck too. So now once they start running at us, we'll be able to attack and get to the rim more, which we did. I think we got 10 layups in the second half. I don't know if we got 10 layups all last season.
Micah, off of that, how much confidence does that give your guys when, they seemingly have a response to your shooting ability, and then you guys have the counter to that, and you're able to sort of have an answer to what they're doing defensively, no matter what?
Yeah, that's you kind of work on those things, like you prepare for certain things, and then you might see something different, and that's where like the basketball IQ comes in. So, like through recruiting, you're trying to find that. That's what we saw with Cam when we recruited him. That's what we saw with Funk, with Pickett, our freshmen. Like they have basketball IQs, and now it just makes the game so much easier that they can adjust on the fly. Like we don't have to call timeouts. Like I pretty rarely use timeouts. I did, I think, in the first half, but like I like to save them so we can get to the end of the game and I can call timeout and run some plays. But like they can make adjustments on the court by themselves in their own, in their own huddles, in their own kind of at free throws or dead balls, whatever it may be. That's the benefit of having an old team. Sometimes they can coach themselves. Don't tell my boss I said that, but they can coach themselves. They can correct themselves, and they can adjust. Because I say it all the time, and I tell them all the time. I still, when I ask them in practice, they still struggle with this. But I always say, guys, I can't coach both teams. So they're allowed to do what they want to do. We can prepare for this, but he can do what he wants to do on the other side. So we have to adjust to what they do and still be able to score, still be able to stop them. Thank you, guys. Have a good night. See you Monday.